in Indian affairs. And these are supposed to be strictly followed through by the court system, and these were not adhered to whatsoever by the court system.
Essentially, what does that act, how does it help the Indian family?
There's been a lot of abuse of government authorities, including the federal authorities, in the Indian children as far as sexual abuse, and it's listed inside some of the documentation and some of the written opinions as to why they made these. This was for the strict protection of Native Americans, and the strict protection so they maintain their cultural background, and this is not taken away from them. This is supposed to be a strict guideline to follow through. The guidelines, by placing them in non-Indian foster care units, violates the law, and also by not strictly following through by the notification of the tribe, and if they cannot find the tribe, they must notify the secretary, and they must notify either one of them. If they don't have any knowledge of the tribe, they must follow through with giving notice of registered mail, return receipt to the secretary. They're all supposed to do the similar situation to me and serve me by mail by a registered return receipt. They did not adhere to this. They failed to do so. This also constitutes a dismissal of the action before it even gets started, if they didn't adhere to these rules.
Is there a remedy under the law when they don't follow the Indian Family Child Welfare Act?
The remedy, yes, there isn't a remedy, and that remedy is dismissal of the action.
Okay.
And return of the children.
And that didn't work? The remedy didn't work?
The remedy was avoided by the courthouse because they did not want me to be classified as a Native American Indian, even though I submitted documentation from my tribe, affidavits stating that I was a member of the Gabriano Tonka tribe out of the state of California, and recognized tribe out of the state, and also a recognized native from the federal government.
You're full-blooded Indian, correct?
I am a Native American, yes.
What did they use as a defense to your request under the Indian Act? Child Welfare Act.
What their defense was that I wasn't Native, and that the federal government didn't recognize our tribe federally recognized as a Native, and that was their defense. And the ultimate defense they put in was that my representing attorney, my counsel, followed through with signing a written stipulation that it didn't apply. I'd like to elaborate on the previous notice. Some of the people, they wanted me to go see their psychologist, which is a violation of our religious rights, and take their DNA. And I brought that statement up way back 10 years prior on that situation where there was a false report, and the court at that time, there was a dismissal of the case and a return on my children. And on that, I had a 6-page report. It was a supplemental addendum to a complaint faxed to the department, U.S. Department, Janet Reno. Within 3 days, there was federal intervention, and the feds came down for an investigation. And on this one complaint that I filed, this was the first face of the complaint you can show. This is filed to the federal department, Justice Department. And it was a situation here showing our Native beliefs on page 4 of 6. Excuse me, this is page 3 of 6, talking about the rights and our ways of beliefs, and on approximately about the second paragraph, about mid-down, it's stating our beliefs 10 years, approximately, that was in the dates right on that listed, I believe it's 97. 97, okay, that was statement of my beliefs at that time prior to this situation that occurred. That was made 10 years. I didn't just change my belief just because the court action commenced, and that was a situation that's very provable because the Federal Justice Department has a copy of that fax complaint. The first complaint was faxed, but I also sent copies of certification to those offices with return receipt, so nothing would get lost. But that's a document that's been verified, and it's documented in Washington, D.C. as to our ways and beliefs. There was a similar situation, and in that document, on the page, it brings out that the U.S. government had made agreements that they would protect our children, and you can see that in the document. And this comes under Title 25 of USCS 677U, and further on down you'll see further elaboration, but also on 677U there is also protection. And in that document, it states that there's not to be any appointments of guardians over our children, our Indian children. Also, it says, because there has to be, and if I might read, it says, an uncomposite mentis, or in the opinion of the Secretary in need of assistance in the conducting of affairs by such means as he may deem adequate, but appointment of guardians pursuant to state laws in any case shall not be required until federal supervision has terminated. Under section Title 25 USC 1901, under the congressional findings, it's on subsection 3. It says that there is no resource that is more vital to the continued existence and integrity of Indian tribes and their children, and that their Indian and the United States has a direct interest as trustee in protecting Indian children who are members of or eligible for membership in an Indian tribe. That is on page 3 of 6.
The U.S. government has a habit over 200 years of breaking treaties, haven't they?
They have broken an entire amount of treaties, and they've not followed through it or adhered to any of the treaties, and they failed to comply with any of the laws that are supposed to be for regulation of the children. And in this case, I've notified many of the people, and none of them have stepped forward or acknowledged or written me letters. I've had a few that had. I've written to Governor Bill Richardson of all the abuses and the harassment and disgrace. I've had representatives from the Muscalero Apache tribe, right? I have a friend named Mr. Palmer, and Mr. Palmer, Nachi Palmer of the Muscalero Apache tribe, had attempted to go ahead and give me aid. He wrote to the governor on my behalf. He also wrote to the Attorney General Gary King. The Governor Bill Richardson failed to follow through with any acknowledgement. He was hand-delivered that by a friend of mine. It was a friend of his for 25 years, and he made a special trip by the commissioner. His name was Hector Ramirez, and there was a witness there, Alva. I had the Attorney General's office state that to him at one time, that to go ahead and list all the violations, civil rights violations that were incurred in court and also by the Sheriff's Department. I got nothing but denials. Okay, denials. Although Gary King went ahead and advertised that he aided violations of civil rights for Native Americans, that was denied. Also, all my civil rights denials were made, and the denial of all claims of what the rights that were violated were denied by Gary King. I also wrote the former Attorney General, Patricia Madrid, and I alerted her of the drugging of my children that I received knowledge of. Gary King failed to do something. The Bill Richardson failed to do anything. Patricia Madrid failed to do anything. I alerted Acting General Counsel Ida Lujan of the drugging of my children. This was forceful drugs on my children of New Mexico, and she failed to do anything. Okay, I also went down to the representative. He's a Republican, Steve Pierce, and he advocates helping of the Native Americans in all ways and their problems. And I went to his office, and I had my witness, the Commissioner Hector Ramirez, witness conversation, and his representative said they would definitely follow through with full investigation to get me some relief. They had some prerequisites, and I gave them permission I had my